Obviously, I gotta catch myself because I'm just having a little fun. Anyway, hey everybody, it's Little Gnome. Or maybe I should say the goofy Little Gnome. It's been a while since I made a video or discussion video, any kind of video. So, yeah, life has been really interesting lately. Um, lots of lots of things been happening lately, good and bad. Mixed bag. Mostly good, but also a few challenges to deal with. And that's been interesting. Things are good between Tanya and me. We're still running strong, so that's always a good thing. So yeah. But anyway, a few things have happened. I picked up a second job, which was good. So far, it's going well. Been a few minor financial setbacks, but the second job should help, which is good. It's still academically inclined. Um, I've been active in the music scene, just trying, going to different shows and stuff. That's always fun. Um, Good things with my friends, bad things with my friends, kind of mixed bag stuff with friendship, communication, etc. But friendship is how I want to segue into this. The topic of this video is going to be male female friendship and friendship with people of different genders. I don't know where you stand on that. I'm accepting of gender as a continuum, but I'm not here to pick a political debate with anybody. So the first thing is that question: can men and women, or can people of different sexes or genders, be friends? I don't know why this is so controversial, but it still remains pretty controversial in our society today. First of all, I'm going to answer the question. The question is yes. Yes, they can be. We can be. Everybody can be friends with anybody. As long as you have, respect for each other, similar values, or at least respect for each other's values. And if there's a connection, you can actually be friends with somebody. So, gender, sex does not matter in a friendship. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that there can't be complications or challenges. I'm not saying that never happens. I'm not saying there's never an attraction that builds up, but as a whole, that's not the defining characteristic of relations with people of different genders. It's still a controversial uh, idea in our society today in the U.S. I don't know why it's so controversial. I suspect that part of it is rooted in the fact that a lot of U.S. culture today is still rooted in the old puritanical tradition where men and women were segregated in all, their daily life, their day-to-day life, and that persisted up until relatively recently in the 20th century. And today, the idea that men and women can interact regularly, normally, is still something new. I think that's part of it. Another part of it, I think, is has to do with gender roles. There's still this idea of how men are supposed to be and women are supposed to be and whatnot, and I think those actually get in the way of men and women actually being able to be friends and everybody else, being friends with anybody else of a different gender. So, lay my cards on the table. I'm a man. I may not be the poster boy for traditional masculinity, but lo and behold, I'm a man. I'm a straight man. I am happily engaged to a straight woman. I'm head over ears in love with her. And I have a lot of female friends. I don't discriminate when I attempt to make friends with anybody. I accept, all attempts at friendship. But throughout my life, it seems like most of my close friends have been women. Um, and I don't entirely know why that is. Part of it, part of it, I think, is the fact that I'm not exactly what you call a hyper masculine male. I'm not a feminine male either, but I don't really fit the conventions of masculinity in our society. So that could be part of it. some of my female friends are more, they say that I'm more overtly sensitive, and uh, that could be part of it. Another thing is I've been told I'm not threatening, which could be part of it. Another thing is because I don't have a whole lot of, I guess, traditionally male interests. I'm not a sports fan. I'm not into cars. I'm not saying I hate sports, but I'm not generally into a lot of sports stuff that's considered stereotypically male. Not into cars. I'm not into drinking. The other thing is, I would say that in our society, male friendship tends to be a lot more superficial. It's kind of just getting together and you know and not really discussing a whole lot, but just kind of hanging out in a casual way. And in the U.S., female friendship tends to be a lot more intimate. People talk about their thoughts and feelings, etc. And I'm not saying I talk about my feelings 24 hours a day, but if you're going through a rough time, for example, you want to vent to someone. And well, in my life, it's been easier to vent to women than men in general. There are exceptions, of course. I do have male friends, and I have friends, across the gender continuum. But most of my close friends have been women, and ever since I was little, actually, even in kindergarten, I had an easier time making friends with the girls, etc. I attempted to play with everybody, but it seemed like the ones who actually reciprocated tended to be women or girls at the time. Elementary school, middle school, same thing. In high school, I actually went to an all boys high school. Um, I didn't make a whole lot of friends there, and I think that actually part of the reason it was so difficult socially was because it was all boys. But I suspect even for the other boys, they found it socially difficult on some level because they weren't. A lot of them probably didn't really know how to interact with women or anybody of a different gender. So, regardless of their personality. And the experience has been interesting. It's been interesting being a straight man with predominantly female friends for many reasons. One of them is because it's such a taboo thing still in our society. Slowly society is warming up to the idea that a male female friendship might not be this strange taboo thing. Um, I know that movie, When Harry Met Sally, it was so influential, but I think it was wrong on so many levels, and that at least that is the central premise. The idea that men and women can't be friends without any sort of romantic or I guess sexual chemistry being part of it. But it's still a taboo thing. The other thing that's interesting is that it's when I walk around with female friends or talk to my female friends, the assumption tends to either be that I'm, secretly, involved romantically with these women, or that I'm secretly gay, or not so secretly in some cases. I get asked pretty frequently if I'm gay, and I'm not insulted by it, but I just happen to not be gay. So there you have it. It's been an interesting, um, it's been an interesting life in that regard. And it's funny because I attempt to make friends with uh, all kinds of people. Usually, when I attempt to make friends with a guy, with a man, usually the usually ends within a month or two. And I don't end things. It just, usually they don't last for whatever reason. The female friends I have tend to last a lot longer. And they may not be permanent, but in general, they're a lot more long term than my male friendships. The other thing is, I think that I tend to scare a lot of guys away. Apparently, a good morning text message is seen as flirting by a lot of men and some women too. But I think a lot more women are receptive to that sort of thing. The idea that I'm not after them. I just want to see how they are and wish them a good day. That's still an alien concept. Hold on, let me get some water. I think I'm getting the froggy throat because that always happens in these videos. Hold on. Okay. Okay, that feels better. Um, yeah. And what was I saying again? Oh yeah. Uh, that's part of it. Some women also see that as flirty too. I remember recently, maybe about a month ago, an online acquaintance of mine, we exchanged phone numbers, and it was sort of an activity-oriented, uh, I guess, acquaintanceship, not friendship. But at one, we'd invite each other to events, and that, we couldn't make each other's events. But one day, I just said, "Hey, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day." And this female acquaintance said, "You know what? I'm not going to. I'm going to avoid casual texting. It seems potentially flirty, blah blah blah." So I was like, "Oh, okay, wow. I didn't know that. Hey, how's it going? Was seen as flirty, but okay." I told my fiance about that. She thought it was kind of stupid. Most people I talked about thought it was stupid, but there you go. It just shows that our society, although we've progressed in a lot of ways, we haven't gotten to the point yet where we're truly comfortable with the idea of friends across the gender spectrum, across the gender continuum. But even now, I have, the overwhelming majority of my close friends are women, and I make lots of attempts to make friends with all kinds of people, but the ones who stick around tend to be women. So there you have it. But yes, we can all be friends. If you're a man, straight, or whatnot, whatever your orientation is, uh, be open to making friendships with people of a different gender. Same thing if you're a woman, straight, pan, bi, cisgender, transgender, whatnot. Be open to making friends with people of a different gender from yourselves. You could be missing out on some awesome friendships. We're not. Yeah, we do have inclinations. We do have attraction, but we're not wild animals. It's not like we have to act on every impulse. It's not like we can't work through things. If you're in a couple and you've got friends you know, uh, of whatever gender or sex you're attracted to, the key is transparency, honesty. Don't hide anything from your partner. Make sure your partner is aware of what's going on. And there you go. My partner, Tanya, my fiance, she knows about my female friends. She accepts it. I know of her male friends, and I accept it. It's never been an issue for us, even if society thinks it's an issue. Anyway, this is unscripted. I hope what I said made some sense at least. Take care. Outro.